Hi guys, happy Tuesday. I'm going to explain really quickly what we are doing today, or what we did today, so that you can understand it. And I'm doing it on the computer like this because that way I can pull up links and you are able to see them. Because a lot of times students were working and we'd have questions, then we'd have to go back, and so I thought this would be quicker and easier. So if you go to announcements, you obviously don't have homework tonight. Upcoming dates, we moved the debate to Thursday. That way students have an extra day to prepare and they don't feel rushed or stressed. Remember, book reports are due this Friday, and the end of the quarter is this Friday. Okay, so today we began by writing a hook sentence. Okay, so remember yesterday, I don't know if you remember this, but in class yesterday, we decided on which part we would do for a hook. So remember, you could do like a quote from a hook. You just have to make sure for a hook, but you have to make sure you write it in correct MLA format, or you could do a very strong statement, which would be kind of like an exaggerated or overreaching statement, and I'll show you an example in a minute. Or people asked a question. So these are all ways you can introduce your paper. It's kind of what grabs the reader's attention. So it's just one sentence introducing it. Then we worked on the paper outline and wrote the first body paragraph. Okay, this is really confusing, and next time I will not do it this way. But for this assignment, since we all have done it, I'm going to explain this. If you have questions, I get it. It can be a little confusing. All right, so let's say your view is that you are, and this is your only opinion, this is not the given debate side. Because everybody was pro-entry for the war, it made it hard for it to be an actual interactive debate. So I designated which side a team was on. But for the paper, this is your opinion. You're writing based on your opinion. Now, if it's easier, if you don't really have a strong opinion of whether or not we should have entered the war, and you want to write based on what your team is debating, based on the position your team is debating from, that's fine. Okay. So let's say, but my opinion for this paper, for the 3-paragraph paper, is that we should enter the war. Okay, so my hook, I used a quote, and you can typically Google World War I quotes or famous leaders in World War I quotes. So I said, as Woodrow Wilson stated, liberty comes at a great cost. I don't think that's an actual quote, but I'm just providing it as an example. Okay, so the main thing is this is in MLA format. There's a comma before the quote. This is in quotation marks, and the period is after it. You can't just put a dash and say Woodrow Wilson, so it needs to be written in this format. Then you introduce the issue, which we've already done, and we did this together. So you cannot copy what I have for my hook and thesis, but you can write down the background, because we reviewed what happened leading up to America deciding whether or not they should enter the war. So that's fine, because we did this together. Then you write your thesis statement, and you remember your thesis statement is your topic plus the opinion plus the reasons for your opinion. So the topic is America entering or not entering the war. The opinion, in this case for my paper, is America should enter the war. And then I said my reason is because American land needs a defense against various attacks. Today we worked on the first body paragraph, and we introduced the opposing view for the first body paragraph. That's really important. So if my opinion is that we should enter the war, I'm going to start my first body paragraph after the introduction about the opposing view. So that means I'm writing first about the anti-entry view. The reason I'm doing this, and most people, or not most, but people do this, is they're providing, here are some arguments against my position. And then when you end it with your opinion, it makes your argument strong because you said, I've listened to all the opposing views and I can still provide a strong argument for why I believe what I believe. It'd just be like if you were a believer and you were sharing the gospel with someone and said, and you already knew and had the opposing views of why Jesus was real, and you could then say those, and at the end of your position say, you know what, even amidst all the doubt, Jesus is still real, and I know he is because of these reasons. It just makes your case stronger. So we're going to start with the topic sentence. A topic sentence is just a way to introduce your paragraph. So I'm providing the opposite view, the opposing view of my opinion. If I believe we should enter the war, I'm going to start by saying, it is common held view that Americans should not enter the war. I'm going to change that. This should be Americans. Oh, America should not enter the war. Okay, that's right. That America should not enter the war. Okay, so it's a common held view. You could start, another way to start your topic sentence, you could say, many people believe, or it is commonly noticed. However you want to start, that's up to you. But your topic sentence introduces what this paragraph is about. And then I'm going into my evidence. Now this evidence, I'm providing you with some help. So if you go to this link, this is the document that a lot of the students used when typing their paper. All right, so if my opinion is pro-entry, that means the one I'm going to go to first, since my first paragraph is the opposing view, I'm going to look at the anti-entry reasons. So maybe I look at the one highlighted. Okay, one reason or one piece of evidence that America should not enter the war based on other opinions is that, okay, they would say the cost of going to war did not improve America financially. Okay, then this is confusing in the outline, and I again will not use this outline ever again. But then yours will say bridge. The bridge is, it's kind of like you're piecing it together. You're explaining this evidence so that it all flows. So specifically, you're making it go, you're being more specific as your paper progresses. So specifically, and you can look at this part and read it. So I put, okay, some people out there opposing against my view, but some argue that we shouldn't go to war. It was going to cost, it's going to cost America a lot. One way that is true is we lost $2 billion in loans. We're spending tons of money on artillery. So I'm providing a specific example for this reason, for this piece of evidence. Yours will say have another piece of evidence and bridge. You're not going to do that. You're going to skip that because that's not necessary. And then you're going to go to your conclusion. Your conclusion paragraph is just a restatement of your topic sentence. So all you would do for that is write to conclude or in conclusion, and then you reword what your topic sentence is to tie it together. Some students went ahead and moved on to their second body paragraph. You can go ahead and look at this. You're doing the same, you're following the same structure in the same, you can look at the same link, but this one is finishing with your opinion. So the first body paragraph should be the opposite of what you believe because you're providing the counter argument, and then you're explaining, you're saying even though many believe this, the best option is this. So you're ending with your opinion. I know that can be confusing, but that's next time I will not do it as this confusing. So that's what we did with our paragraphs, or with our papers. Your papers is your personal opinion. Now the debate, if you're not here for the debate, that is fine, obviously. What I will ask you to do is just, if you go to these Google Slides, and if you want to, you have these requirements. So obviously if you're not here this week, that is totally fine. What you're going to do instead is you're going to still, you are going to still look at this position and fill out these claims. So if you are on a team, and I think some of my first block, they were put at the bottom, so you don't have a position yet. So you're going to fill this out as you're going to choose your position, choose your question for the opposing team. This is if you're not in school. So if you are online, you're going to choose whichever side and fill this out. And then you can submit this to me on Friday. All right, guys, if you have any questions,